Though this video may not help you find a girl, it will do something much, much more valuable. It will enhance your gaming experience, baby. So let's jump right into another top 5 unique, fun, and bizarre builds, part 3. Y'all keep asking for it, so let's do it. Starting right up, number 5 on the list, the Frost King. This build does not use a single frost spell, nor does it use any intelligence. Yep, a straight frost warrior. First off, we got the Zammer Curved Sword, which has innate frost buildup. Its weapon art is the Zammer Ice Storm. It takes a second to pull off, but if you do, it is very effective for dealing damage and proccing frost. The Zammer Curved Sword has unique R1 light attacks, moving forward with each strike. So, you can power stance for stronger but slower dual attacks, then use Zammer's R1 light for something a bit faster. A solid combination here is to power stance with the Bloodhound Fang. This is the ultimate weapon in Elden Ring. For real, this was Miyazaki's way of saying,
今よりもこのゲームよりもですね、面白いゲーム作っていこうと決意してますので、ぜひよろしくお願いします。
You can get it super early in the game, has a passive buff that increases damage for jump attacks, and you can enhance it. So we just toss on some frost grease like a Chad and power stance it with our Zammer sword, giving us a decent frost buildup. It's getting a bit nippy, ain't it, Godfrey? I bet you regret ripping off that shirt now, huh? I be freezing off them bloody titties, boy. This is your heavy hitter setup, great for breaking stance. If the Frost King is feeling a bit frisky and wants to go into full warrior mode, then we can wield the Frozen Warrior Axe. Can be used to power stance 2 of them, which gives strong jump attacks, or simply keep one on the left for quick offhand strikes. Some reason this works very well. Good for finishing off enemies or quick hits while they are staggered. Then you can also two-hand it to use the weapon skill or Frost Stomp. Hold up, listen. I make these videos to keep your gaming experience new, fun, and lively. Well, today I have some help with that. The sponsor of this video, Bloodline, Heroes of Lithis, is here to save the freaking day, my boy. This game takes RPGs to a whole new level with one of the most fresh and unique game mechanics that I've ever seen. Paired up with the bloody beautiful 3D graphics it offers, this is not an opportunity you want to miss out on. Check out my link down below so you can try out this game right now for free. This game is insane, man. Listen, you can combine the bloodlines of elves, demons, demigods, vampires, all types of different monsters to choose from. You partner them up, marry them, then they make sweet love and give birth to a unique, diabolical creature. These little demon babies will inherit the talents, traits, and fashion of their parents, fusing into a hybrid. The possibilities are literally endless. And I really do mean endless, because every couple of weeks, they update the game to add more bloodlines and more combat abilities. Dude, it even has a rewarding late game PvP. There's a bunch of other elements to this game, like strategically building your own kingdom and economy, beautiful scenery, interesting storylines. Yeah, this is definitely a game worth trying out. And all you gotta do is click my link down below and start playing. Or use your phone to scan the QR code right on the screen if you're viewing on a PC. Plus, because I'm a straight Chad, I'm gifting y'all an exclusive $20 worth of treasures. Don't wait though, because the first 30 players who leave a comment with their in-game account ID and username will receive the legendary female orc, Ugrul, one of the best warriors in the game. Simply reply to my pinned comment with your username.
What have I done?
And now for something completely different.
Another solid strategy, specifically for PvP, has been to use a weapon such as a halberd or greatsword, and then use a fast, thrusting weapon in your offhand for them fast pokies, the little pokers. We can use that strategy here to great effect with the Frozen Needle. This is mainly a PvP only strategy, running heavy attack with Zammer and then poke. Pro gamer strategy right there. Bro, look at this. Dual Magwin Great Spears, and he's lagging. Bro.
Look at this dude.
I really got the peak golden PvP experience today, man. Oh yeah, and I just love proccing frost and dealing 0 damage. That's just... Oh, that's just my favorite. Power stance greatswords are best for a big boy boss fight, Zammer and Ice Hatchet for small scrubbers, and then Zammer and Frozen Needle for PvP. But it all works together very well, considering all you really need is a high dexterity level, and everything will scale very strongly to that, with no intelligence needed, just like I said. Moving forward, so in my original part 1 weird and fun builds video, I had a vampire build using vampiric attacks. But in today's video, I present a vampire slayer instead. So the typical Castlevania cosplay build is basically just using the Haslo set. But this is not a Castlevania Trevor Belmont cosplay. Of course, I mixed it up and made it my own with a twist that I will show you, making this build even stronger and even cooler than before. To start off, yes, I am using a Haslo's pedal whip. Of course, when using a whip, you must power stance. It's literally a law. If you break this law, Miyazaki himself will show up on your front door and be very, very rude to you.
You stupid.
I've personally experienced this myself, and I am traumatized from it. So I strongly recommend you use one Haslo's and one Thorned Whip. It's funny because a single whip is just horrendous, but dual wielding whips, one of the most satisfying movesets in the game. Dual whips got the jump shot spankers on lock. Heavy strike attacks with decent range, so you got the drip and the damage here, a deadly combination. Though the whips are great for staggering smaller enemies, you don't end up actually breaking stance very often with them. And even if you do, whips cannot perform critical attacks. So I have an answer for this, which I will show you now. A true vampire monster slayer will never get up off his mom's couch and leave his busted up trailer without a stake, right? A vampire slaying stake. Well, we have a giant one, an oversized bloody Hellas. This weapon art will totally switch up your fighting style right in the middle of combat. Has good range and strong poise damage. This can break guard consistently. Very fun against enemies you can slap off their feet, then follow up with that unique R2 heavy attack it has. Yes, after thrusting forward with the weapon skill, continue to hit R2 and it'll give you another poke and swipe heavy attack. You do not have many options when it comes to weapon arts for whips, but as for this Vampire Slayer build, I choose Golden Vow, as this feels like a holy enchantment to buff myself with monster slaying power, baby. This only works if you're using the Keen Affinity, which brings me to my next topic. If we keep the Haslo's whip as Keen Affinity, we can enhance it with something. In general, if I had to pick one, I would recommend Lightning Grease. Another option is sacrificing the stat cost of leveling up Faith in order to use Blood Flame. This is good too because I do love me some Blood Flame. It gives you plus 40 bleed buildup and around plus 50 increased fire damage, and Blood Flame gets style points too because it just looks really cool. This is especially effective for slaying the most monstrous monster in all of Elden Ring, stanky ass Malenia. Show no mercy, attack!
Retreat! Retreat!
So Keen Haslo's whip with Golden Vow, and then enhance it with Lightning Grease or Blood Flame. Then the left hand, Thorned Whip with Royal Knight's Resolve, but you can use whatever Ash of War you want. Got the Claw Talisman, Lord of Blood. Moving on forward to my favorite part of this video, my own personal Star Wars builds. Let's go, baby! We got the Jedi Knight, the Sith Lord, and an Ahsoka Tano build. For the Jedi will be a sorcerer with a focus on dexterity and intelligence. For your lightsaber type, you have a couple of choices. First, you can use a thrusting sword. I recommend the SW, which is the longest thrusting sword and has a unique R2 attack, or Rajier's Rapier, which also has its own unique heavy attack for stabbing, very effective poise damage, and breaking stance. Lightsaber fighting does have a lot of inspiration from fencing, so a thrusting sword like the SW tomahawk or Rajia's rapier can work. Your other option, and to be honest the more powerful setup, would be two-handing a katana, Nagakiba or Uchigatana. Weapon skills like double slash and spinning slash will work wonders here. Crazy magic damage output, this is quite effective in almost every situation. This feels like the closest you're gonna get to a Jedi's lightsaber. To bring your lightsaber to life, you can use magic grease, but Scholar's armament spell will be much stronger on a build like this. Use magic shrouded cracked tear and even the magic scorpion charm to boost that magic damage even more. For sorceries, I guess you could use gravity spells, because, I mean, it makes sense that you can use the force to throw rocks around. I give you permission to use cold spells too, like freezing mist, inflicting frost to chill him out, you know? Tell that Sith Lord to just relax a little bit. I'm using the Academy Glintstone staff because at this level, it's the best scaling. Up next, and my personal favorite, the Sith Lord, named Darth Tater. You know, like Tater Tot, because he's a fucking potato, obviously. All my characters are even though this isn't even really a bleed build at all. I mean, we will not be proccing blood loss very often, but still, using Blood Flame for the Sith build is freaking perfect for two reasons. Number one, Blood Flame is an incantation, obviously, so it's based in faith. And with faith, we can use other incantations, such as Sith Lightning. Hell yeah, boy, we got Dark Side Force Lightning here. Second reason for Blood Flame is that the way dark side users create their red lightsabers is by a process of bleeding their blades. Yes, through pain and suffering, they bleed their saber crystal, turning it red. So using Blood Flame, yeah, that's a perfect fit, man. We got a keen twin blade, and since the regular light attacks are already very fast and strong up close, I like to use an Ash of War like Sword Dance or Piercing Fang, something to develop the combat style and give you better movement thrusting forward. Then for spells, you can use any lightning type spells you want. These are strong in both PvE and in PvP. Everything just gets spanked by these spells. So yeah, my Elden Ring Sith Lord has the damage and the drip to go with it. A sinister combination. You can use the Gravelstone Seal to buff all the Dragon Colt incantations. By the way, you can use the Vike's Dragon Bolt enhancement instead of Blood Flame if you wish. I mean, just look at that. Your father gonna be proud of you seeing you looking like this. Another weapon option you can use is Eleanor's Pole Blade. It looks like a red lightsaber and has a wicked cool weapon skill. But I really recommend you just use a regular twin blade. This will be stronger, as this build does not utilize arcane. Like I said before, this is not a bleed or arcane build. It is a dexterity and faith lightning build. And finally we have the Ahsoka Tano. Now Ahsoka is technically not a Jedi, but she still uses the power of the Force to do good. For good reasons, like giving Sims a hard on. Whoa, nope, not me. Okay, maybe just a little bit. No. Dual coated swords to match her dual no-color lightsabers. So obviously, this is going to be a holy damage faith build, focusing on quick attacks. Strong but fast. Want to be real fast here, so I made sure I'm able to light roll. Plus, can also use stamina buffs like the pickled turtleneck and the green turtle talisman. In case you didn't know already, dual coated swords is simply one of the most powerful builds in the game. Because it is straight holy damage, it is easily buffed by many things. First of all, it scales up with a high level 80 Faith, Sacred Scorpion Charm, Holy Shrouded Cracked Tear, then because it's so quick, got successive attack buffs like Millicent's, Ron Winged Insignia, and Thorny Cracked Tear, and we got Last Rites or Golden Vow. Speaking of that, which is better here, Last Rites compared to Golden Vow? Well, let's end this debate. So, with my build here at level 80 Faith, they actually give the same exact increase in attack power. Both Last Rites and Golden Vow end up with a 756 AR, but the Golden Vow will also give you 10% increased damage, and it lasts for 20 seconds longer. So maybe other setups, Last Rites is better, but here Golden Vow takes the win for sure. We can use spells like Earthtree Heal and Rock Throw, since we have concluded before that Force users can toss rocks around. Then for stats, just go ham and jelly on your faith level here. Level 80 faith, vigor, and endurance is literally all that matters. On to our number 2 build, Take a warrior barbarian and combine it with the soul of a wild beast, and you get the Barb-Animal. This will be a shapeshifter build that also optimizes heavy charged attacks to deal huge damage. With this build, think beastly, a bloodthirsty, wild warrior, hungry and alone, willing to do or become anything it must to not only survive, but thrive. Because we got big dick energy around here, boy. Just look at that face, man, you know he a savage. One unique weapon that comes to mind is this thing. This greatsword is the definition of gnarly, literally made out of a giant's backbone. Its weapon art, Shriek of Milos, is similar to other war skills like Warcry, but this one is special. It lets out a horrifying scream that applies a 15% damage resistance debuff to nearby enemies, plus increases your physical damage by 7.5%. Then of course gives you a special moveset for heavy attacks. It is devastating stuff, man, especially when two-handing it, charging up the attacks. This will allow you to keep the Highland Axe in your left hand. The Highland Axe will buff all roar skills by another 10%, so even in your offhand, having this will increase the damage on those unique attacks. Highland Axe in offhand, two-handing a greatsword in main hand, and blast away with a ferocious combo. But that's not all for my Barb-Animal build. Like I said before, this character has the soul of a wild beast, so you can consider it to be a shapeshifter build, shapeshifting into different monsters and animals. All three Crucible incantations are perfect for this. The Giant Lizard Tail, Charging Horn, and the Froggy Fire Breath. These three attacks are somewhat niche but can be very effective in certain situations. Pissing off dudes in PvP is certainly one situation. Though for any situation, I strongly recommend the Dragon Maw incant. This deals very, very strong poise damage with extremely tanky hyper armor. You're a goddamn dragon tank with this spell. It's effective and fun to use. You can also use the Dragon Breath incants, such as Fire or Frost Breath. Just do not use the Rotten Breath, alright? Just don't make your father feel even more disappointed in you than he already does, okay dude? Just give the man a break for once. So that is how the build is gonna look when prioritizing the theme of the build, a wild beastly shapeshifter. But the truth is, when it comes down to focusing more on damage and effectiveness, the Milos sword is not the best option. There's other weapons and roar skills that are better. We got Barbaric Roar with its own unique heavy moveset, and then War Cry and Braggart's Roar. They all increase your attack power by 10 to 15%, though I will say, in my opinion, the Barbaric moveset is freaking sweet. I prefer the faster flurry of heavy strikes rather than the long running slam that War Cry gives you. But objectively, Braggart's Roar is probably the best. It has a slightly longer animation, but it's worth it because it gives you 10% increased physical damage, plus damage reduction, and stamina recovery speed, so it buffs everything. Now you can get real crazy and use other animal-like weapons, such as the Winged Greathorn or the Ringed Finger. Looking at this thing, man, it reminds me of breakfast when I was in county jail. You can customize this build to your preference, however you think a wild barb-animal should be like. But the simplified version of what I am presenting here is to use a two-handed strong weapon and perform charged heavy attacks. Use a roar skill such as Barbaric Roar to increase the damage and give yourself a unique heavy moveset. Roar Medallion for more damage increase, then Axe Talisman to increase the damage on the charged attacks, and Spikecrack Tear for even more damage on charged attacks. All optimized together to make heavy charged attacks as strong as possible. So I have some bestial incantations, the Crucible incants, Dragon Maul. Then, if you have at least a 40 to 50 faith level, you can use the Flame Art infusion on something like the Knight Rider Glaive, and this will actually yield a higher attack power and giving you fire damage. Moving on to our final build. So, when making these videos, the #1 most commented build idea was the pot build. So many of y'all talking about the ultimate pot build. And I thought, okay, yeah, that should be easy. But then I thought to myself, but what the fuck is a pot build? What, you just wear this big pot helmet and throw fire pots? Let me tell you, man, I know from personal experience that throwing pots at people is pretty fucking rude. But as we all know, from the moment we stepped out into the lanes between, These dudes been rude to us, calling us maidenless, kicking us off cliffs, so screw it. Everyone got a goddamn fire pot with their name on it. The ultimate pot build. Believe it or not, there's actually a talisman to buff these things. But the thing is, some of these pots will scale with your stat levels. So I say we prioritize strength and faith. This is going to be mostly a fire damage build, because the ultimate pot combo is using an oil pot to get the enemy all lubed up, then a flame pot to incinerate. Oh my Lanta, over 2300 damage from one fire pot. But of course, we gotta use more than that. We got freezing pots and rot pots. Certain enemies you know are vulnerable to scarlet rot or frost, use them on. The main money makers though will be the red main fire pot, then oil and volcano. Here's a tip, the aiming can be funky when you're locked on, so sometimes it's best to free aim and throw it at the ground, especially the volcano pot. Of course, the only weapon that could possibly fit this build are the iron balls. For an Ash of War, you can use Barbaric Roar for increased attack power, or Endure for increased defense. Attack or defense, up to you. And if you're feeling spicy, the Giant Jar Cannon. It has jar in the name, and jar equals pot. So, Giant Pot Cannon, baby! Lightning and explosive bolts for a decent long-range attack. The big pot helmet is a must, got fire-infused iron balls, pot talisman, rotten winged insignia, and the flame crack tier. Now make sure to comment and give this video a 5-star spanker review on Yelp, be highly appreciated. Thank you for watching my fellow jabronis, I'll talk to you later.